Good evening and welcome to the Monday, March 2nd, 2026 meeting of the Arlington County Planning Commission. I am Commissioner Nia Bagley, Chair. Tonight we will hear and discuss the following items: Arlington View Neighborhood Plan and amendments to the zoning ordinance, Article 13, signs, and Article 18, definitions. A few pointers before we get started for participants. Presenters and speakers joining the meeting through Microsoft Teams, please keep your phones and other electronic devices muted until you are called upon by the clerk. Please turn off the sound to any devices around you to minimize interference, and keep your cameras off until the clerk announces your name to speak. When called upon, you must unmute yourself by clicking on the microphone icon that is in the meeting command bar at the top of the screen. Neither the moderator nor the clerk have the ability to unmute your mic. Once you have spoken, please mute your mics and turn your cameras off. If you are dialing in by phone to join the meeting, press *6 to unmute. Public speakers will be called upon by the clerk at an assigned time. Pre-registration with email confirmation is required to speak at tonight's hearing. We are not able to accommodate additional speakers. All speakers, virtual and hybrid, will receive 2 minutes to comment as an individual. Only representatives of a county board appointed advisory group or committee and/or a commission will receive 3 minutes to comment. A timer will be displayed on the screen if speaking virtually, and speakers in person will follow the timer stationed on the podium. Audio of tonight's meeting is available via phone. If commissioners, presenters, or speakers lose internet connectivity, please reconnect by phone. However, if you are dialing in by phone and unable to see the screen, we will provide an audible 30-second warning to wrap up your comments. You will be muted when your time has expired. The meeting chat is active for presenters or commissioners who need technical assistance only. Please do not use the meeting chat for discussion, public comment, questions about agenda items, or requests for further information. All public comments must be shared verbally for the record during the assigned public testimony period. Tonight's meeting will be available for review through the YouTube platform. A link has been provided on the Planning Commission website 24 to 48 hours after the adjournment of the meeting. Although the meetings will no longer be a live broadcast, the meetings will be available for review with closed captioning on Comcast Xfinity channels 25 and 1073 and Verizon Fios channels 39 and 40, 24 to 48 hours after the adjournment of the meeting. Lastly, this is a public forum. Tonight's meeting will be recorded and posted to the county website via a link to YouTube as stated. All information associated with tonight's meeting, whether written or spoken, is subject to the Virginia Freedom of Information Act requirements. Before calling tonight's first agenda item, I want to go on record now as stating that I am unable to guarantee by what time our monthly commission hearings will conclude. As committed volunteers, it's admirable to see everyone here in person, knowing how many responsibilities all of us have in our busy lives. Please remember, if you cannot be here, need to arrive late or leave early, just let Madam Clerk know in advance. It's understood. While we are always sensitive to the need for quorum, we now have more commissioners than we've had in the past. As chair, it's incumbent upon me to strive to run efficient hearings. There are, however, often times when some issues are not resolved in the meetings and process leading up to now. We see that in ongoing written or emailed correspondence from stakeholders, as well as in what we hear during public comment. I believe our community expects and respects us when we give needed time to their concerns. I believe we owe them that. Our goal in hearings like tonight's is to arrive at some consensus so we can advise the county board accordingly, as well as to let them know why when we're unable to. We often make additional motions to signal to the board that they may need to consider taking some action to help better address such issues in the future. While it isn't possible for all of us to attend every commission-related meeting, it's also incumbent on all of us to stay apprised. While we are in commission hearings, we need to strive for collaborative participation. I ask project chairs and co-chairs to share your summer reports a few days in advance of when those will be heard by us here. Even if you have attended SPRCs, LRPCs, ZOCOs, etc., which is extremely commendable, please read the reports in advance and feel free to reach out to the chair or co-chair if you have questions. Lastly, we congratulate our newer commissioners on how quickly you are making positive contributions here. We value and are frankly better for your voices, your questions, your thoughts, your perspectives, and your comments. Thank you. We will table any questions and our further discussion on this until we reach commission business later in tonight's agenda. With that, Madam Clerk, can you please call our first item?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our first item for the evening is the Arlington View Neighborhood Plan. We have Nowdy, we have Nowdy Martinez, our planning staff from Neighborhood Services, to present this item this evening. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Nowdy Martinez, planner with Arlington Neighborhoods Program. A member of the Arlington View neighborhood is here to present their updated neighborhood plan, which was approved by the Arlington Neighborhoods Advisory Committee in January of this year. With us this evening, we have Carter Eccles, who is the editor of the Arlington Neighborhoods Plan update. With that, I will pull up the presentation and turn it over to Mrs. Eccles to present.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. While she's pulling it up, Ron Green, who was our president, and Yvonne, who got us going on this, and Yvonne Dangerfield, who was of incredible help, are both listening in online. So here we go. Welcome to Arlington View. We love our sign because it is a reminder of the advocacy of Arlington View residents that resulted in Arlington's first neighborhood plan. This is our first revision since that plan in 1965. There's lots of reasons for that. Next. Arlington View is a small, wonderful, historically Black community that is in South Arlington off of Columbia Pike. We're about halfway between Bob and Edith's and the Air Force Memorial. Next. And in this close-up, you can see the yellow line to the left is our border with the Columbia Heights Civic Association. It was a wall a long time ago, but that was protecting the people from our west, to our west from our African American neighborhood. So to orient you about the rest of it, you can get in and out of of Arlington View from Columbia Pike. Otherwise, we are bordered by Washington Boulevard, 395, the Arlington Navy Country Club, and those apartments in Columbia Pike. Also, the furthest back, the Cortland Columbia Pike is a new building that was called the Trove. It was opened in 2020. It's not in our neighborhood, but the 401 units there have a huge impact on us. Our green space down at the bottom is the field, which belongs to both the public schools and the parks department. The lower Long Branch watershed comes through the edge of Arlington View to the top of the picture. It's under those trees, and that is VDOT and Arlington shared land. And finally, we have 3 multifamily developments in Arlington View: Carrington Village, Carver Place, and AHC has a collection of low-income apartments, down by Hoffman Boston Elementary School. Next. We developed our plan by starting with a lot of activities to make sure we were confident about what the real issues were, because we wanted to maximize participation on the survey. We sent a written invitation to all the households in the neighborhood with email reminders and an outdoor sign. And we have about 450 homes in our neighborhood, and we were excited to get 92 completed forms back, with at least one from almost every street in our little neighborhood. Next. We are half of Group 1 of Census. We are Group 1 of Census Block 103300. The most important thing the rest are apartments in Columbia Heights. The most important thing to know about us is that we have very rapidly changing demographics. This year, for the first time, Hoffman Boston is no longer a Title I school. Next. So this chart of what we most like about Arlington View will probably give you a hint about why we are anxious about change. We really like our diversity, our sense of community, our relative affordability, and all of those are rapidly changing. Next. These are our major topics of hope and concern, and the rest of this presentation is going to be a slide on each of these. Next. So preserving our history is incredibly important to us. Arlington View has an important role in the history of Arlington County, and we're eager to preserve it. The first owners of what was known as Johnson Hill sold the property to formerly enslaved people. On that map from 1900, you can see a large portion was sold to Harry Gray. Mr. Gray built the house, which is below that map and is now on the historic register. The top right is Hoffman Boston, which was built in 1915 for Black children, grades 1 to 9. Senior high was added in the 1940s, and Hoffman Boston was the only high school for Black students in Arlington until the schools were integrated. In the bottom right, you can see the George Washington Carver homes, which were garden apartments built for public housing in 1940s for former Freedmen's Village residents displaced by the Pentagon. Please note the grass. Next. So our next concern is growth and infrastructure. And the top left building there is what replaced the 73 apartment or townhouses that replaced the 44 George Washington Carver homes. To the right, is the terraces at Arlington View is the first of the 4 AHC buildings that are in the back to be renovated. 2 of the others you can see just in the right, they are much smaller. We love new neighbors. It's a gift to have new neighbors, but the growth is happening. We have major traffic congestion and parking challenges and noise depending on where you live. We also walk a lot, and our sidewalks are old, narrow, and broken, and in need of better accessibility ramps. Next. Traffic. We're sure you hear a lot about traffic. Since the terrible gridlock in Arlington View after 9/11, we've been advocating for a means of emergency vehicle egress from the back of the neighborhood. If you got a chance to read the plan, you know that the county had an emergency vehicle access in its 2014 capital improvement plan, but it now appears that it's just going to be a bike path. We also have many problematic intersections. The great news is one of the most problematic, Columbia Pike and Rolfe Street, is getting a stoplight that we've wanted for a long time. But the intersection of 12th and Rolfe is pretty much of an accident waiting to happen. 12th Street along Rolfe used to be a little dead end, but it got opened up when the Trove, now Cortland, was opened in 2020. People regularly run through this 4-way stop. School buses let children on and off here, and the apartments to our west use it as their entrance and exit. Next. Our parks, our best green space, which I noted earlier, is at the school and the community center. It's not available during school hours, which has led us to try to seek improvements to this park from an RNAC equity funding. This is Arlington View Park, and you can see that about half of it is sloped down. So we have a plan to see if we can get a retaining wall built so we can maybe double the space. So there'd be some space to have for people or children to play in during the school day. They're younger. We're also seeking tree canopies on the ramp from Columbia Pike up to I-395. Next. And finally, our issue of concern about public services. Pretty much all of our most important ones have jurisdiction problems. The lower Long Branch watershed is blocked, so we have stagnant water, which leads to mosquitoes for a good portion of the neighbor. And Arlington says it's a VDOT problem. Hoffman Boston Field needs lots of different kinds of work, but as I noted before, that is shared responsibility between APS and parks. So it's not clear how to move forward with those. This neighborhood plan was a big group project, but there was consensus on most of the issues and great participation in our neighborhood. We are looking forward to doing an update in the next few years and not waiting quite so many years for our next one. Thank you.
Are there any other presentations?
No other presentations,
Okay.
no speakers.
And I don't think we have any commissions or anything on this, correct? Okay, since that's the case, we now open that for discussion on the commission. Are there any questions or any comments that anyone would like to make? Okay, oh, I can't see it. Okay.
I want to thank that neighborhood for their presentation and for updating their plan. They're the very first one in the county. Having been head of a civic association, I know how much it takes to get that many people in a neighborhood to respond. That's a tribute to you and to the neighborhood itself, that they are interested, they want to be heard. Getting this update was a huge amount of work, I can see, and I am more than happy to vote in favor of it when that time comes. So I want to thank you for all the work you did and for bringing that forward to us.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yeah, I love Arlington View, especially being a fellow Pike resident myself. I have a question for you, actually, which is among all the issues, what do you think is like the biggest priority? Like if you were all able to get some funding next year from the neighborhoods plan, what do you think would be at the top of that list? Is it sidewalks? Is it some of the tree planting? Like what are you all thinking?
Well, we have requests in for both the park from the equity funding that the county has given and for sidewalks on Queen Street. And so those are active requests that we have in. We also have the request for trees in the neighborhood program is sort of keeping track of some other innovative ideas that aren't the traditional ones. And the trees are also a real passion for the neighborhood. I don't know that it is the mosquitoes is also a huge problem, and the stale water. I'm not sure that probably is more of a jurisdictional plan based on our conversations with the county so far.
Sure. And again, I want to applaud the effort, having done this myself, appreciating how much work this is, but also like your neighborhood really punches above its weight class significantly, in my view. You're bounded in, there's so many different types of housing, so many different types of people. You've got a school, you've got a community space, you've got a lot of historic sites, and you're all squeezed in there by VDOT, and you just survived, I hope, the latest round of Pike construction. And I'm sure people are thrilled that is sort of wrapped up. So really, really impressive. Congratulations to you. And I'm very happy to support this.
I'm realizing that I'm going to be in trouble with the neighborhood if I don't say something about 12th Street. What I didn't, the little one-way street that's opened up, the intersection that's a problem, we were led to believe when that street got opened up that it was going to be one way. So I got organized by your saying, what would you do with money? Sure. I think but that is crucial to see if we can get that piece of 12th Street. And we've had some conversations with the county about it, but we would really like that to be ideally one way leaving Arlington View. What our understanding was when they opened it, that we would be able to have dialogue and have a check-in about it. So that is another crucial thing. And then the emergency egress, which at least one county board member has said they thought that solved the problem. It doesn't really, it created more problems. It wasn't the one that we hoped we would get through the back of but through the neighborhood. But please put 12th Street on our wish list high up.
Sure, I appreciate the context. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other, Commissioner Garcia?
Yeah, thank you. So definitely associate myself with Commissioner Lantelmi and Commissioner Berkey. It is really remarkable to accomplish this. And then I did have a question, perhaps maybe for the rest of the commission. And I noticed there are some staff comments on the plan, maybe some modifications. Is that something then the community can go back and look and see if they want to adjust, or are those shared with them? I guess, or maybe staff would know that.
Mr. Pfeiffer, can you help us with that one?
I can answer that.
Oh, never that. I forgot.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for
All right.
Arlington Neighborhoods Plan, yeah, part of the process is to share all staff comments with the neighborhood. And then the neighborhood is given the opportunity to make any modifications to the plan as they see fit. So yeah, all the comments were shared with Mrs. Eccles, and then there were some updates that were made to the plan accordingly.
I think we took most of,
Mm-hmm.
most, if not all, of the plans of this, of the suggestions of the staff. We thought they were excellent.
Yeah, got it. Excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah, certainly with regard to kind of tree planting and requests for trees. I am curious, kind of as we move forward to kind of endorse this plan, is there something that we can say with regard to kind of that seam between the county and VDOT? It seems like that is often a challenge when there's a county property and then you have VDOT property, and really like how can VDOT be compelled to, for example, address some of those flooding issues that lead to pooling water? And
Ms. Martinez, I'm going to defer to you.
That one I may need some help with. I don't know, Laura, are you on? Yep. Laura Simpson.
Hi, I'm sorry. Hi, Laura Simpson, the supervisor for Arlington Neighborhoods Program. We don't have that type of ability with VDOT, but what we do when we have a project request through Arlington Neighborhoods Program is we do put that forth with our engineers and ask questions and do some investigation into it proactively, which may or may not always, we may or may not always have an opportunity to do as a county with just, you know, the majority of concerns that get raised with VDOT. So I guess in a nutshell, we put focused energy on it and we try to advance it as much as we can, but we don't have any real ability to compel VDOT to do anything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Berkey.
I was just going to say, from a commission perspective, I mean, I think our role here is really to accept this. I think, and I agree with what Ms. Simpson was saying. I think for the neighborhood, this does provide a platform, communicating with the county board when it goes to the county board in a week and a half, to further communicate some of these concerns. I know the community is already engaged on 12th Street and other issues over the last, I think, 18 months or 2 years. It is important to note, I think everybody here understands this, but I'm going to repeat it, that, you know, neighborhood plans are not county policy. Not that they're less than, but they're not county policy. It's an expression of the neighborhood's views and a synthesis and so forth. And it's really important, obviously, when looking at things, and obviously it's created mostly in service of the neighborhood's program, but it's not county policy, right? So I look at it as a platform. It's an opportunity of expression, right? It's where conversation can begin.
yeah, and just to kind of quick go back. Yeah, I think my line of questioning isn't to invalidate or kind of lessen the value of this. It's more kind of thinking from the perspective of the Planning Commission. Is there something we can do to help advocate for some of these things that the neighborhood might start by wanting? Yeah.
Commissioner Steiner.
Yes, so that got me thinking, Commissioner Garcia, and I guess this is more of a comment for staff than anything else. Is there any kind of way, because I had this when I was working across the river in their transportation department, where we had to work with the National Park Service. And so what we would do is we would go into these MOUs to split up sort of like agreements for how particular land was going to be managed. If it was owned by the feds, we could still do work for XYZ activities in a certain scope of a contract. So I don't know if that's been explored already or not, but if it has not, I would encourage staff to look into opportunities to find ways to get Arlington County to work in VDOT right away, because I know that that's something that that we used to do with DC government. So I know that's something that can be done. And so I'm just curious what avenues exist for the county.
Just to be clear about the issue with the blocked water, the pipe that goes under 395, our best guess is that got blocked when they were building the Freedman's Village Bridge. This is not a flooding issue. This is the water can't move. And so it just sits there.
Got it. That's good context. Thank you.
And I do want to just point out to Commissioner Garcia that, we can make motions and things that can further flag the county board when they get this for their review. So those are also ways to help possibly push if that's what you're, trying to imply that we do. Okay. Any other comments, questions, anything? Okay. Commissioner Lantelmi, I believe you have a motion.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Planning Commission recommend to the county that the county board adopt the attached resolution to accept the Arlington View Neighborhood Plan update, subject to staff comments specified in the plan.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Berkey seconded. All right, we're going, are there any, would you like to speak to your motion, Commissioner Lantelmi?
No, I don't.
Okay, and hearing no other questions or comments, let's go for a vote, and we're going to do this alphabetically. Commissioner Amadeo. Aye. Commissioner Berkey.
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia.
Aye.
Commissioner Lantelmi.
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson.
Aye.
Commissioner Steinberger, you
Abstain.
okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Commissioner Striner.
Aye.
Commissioner Torres. Commissioner Bagley, that's me. That's an aye. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ayes and 1 abstention, correct, Mr. Pfeiffer? Perfect. There you go. We're in like Flynn here. Okay. Thank you so much to Ms. Eccles and also Ms. Simpson and Ms. Martinez for joining us this evening, and for all the work as a former Civic Association president too. I understand just corralling people enough it's pretty amazing. Every time the Civic Association of which I still belong, we tried to do things, there were never enough volunteers, and just the sheer numbers, it just never got off the ground. So congratulations on that. And so, Madam Clerk, can you call our next item?
Thank you.
Our next item is ZOA-2026-02, amendments to the Arlington County Zoning Ordinance, Article 13 for signs and Article 18 definitions to amend regulations for signs. And we have Jill Hunger and Deborah Albert to present this item for us this evening.
Great. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Planning Commission. Again, as Johnson mentioned, my name is Jill Hunger, and I'm joined here this evening with Debbie Albert to present to you strategic amendments to sign regulations phase 2. So
Is your microphone on?
it is. Is that better? Just pull it down. So these proposed amendments represent the second phase of strategic updates to sign regulations under the Commercial Market Resiliency Initiative, CMRI, which seeks to modernize Arlington's regulatory framework to respond to economic shifts and support Arlington's placemaking. On December 13th, 2025, the County Board authorized advertisement of public hearings no earlier than February 2026. The RTA had a broad scope. However, staff highlighted certain elements specifically under consideration: signs within Arlington's RA districts, sidewalk signs, off-premise advertising, automatic changeable copy standards, and consideration of amendments for temporary signs placed by private parties in the public right-of-way. Staff continue to refine the proposal, and before you this evening are the following proposed changes. Those that are CMRI related, including greater flexibility of signs within the RA districts, expanded time frame for temporary banner placement, the allowance for signs and/or sign types that may include automatic changeable copy and off-premise advertising in specified locations, the amended size and timing standards for certain automatic changeable copy signs, technical edits for consistency, organization, and readability. There are other amendments under consideration, including the removal of an allowance for temporary signs by private parties in the public right-of-way. And although considered in the RTA, the following is not included for change of amending the number and placement of sidewalk signs. Providing greater flexibility for signs allowed in the RA districts. The provisions for the signs in the RA district in 2012. At that time, buildings in RA districts were either garden style developments or apartment buildings on large lots. The proposed amendments before you this evening to section 13.6 provide additional allowance for wall and canopy signs that are compatible with the urban form now realized with some of our newer developments in RA districts. Regulations already allowed within the RA districts that include freestanding signs are not proposed to change, thus maintaining the allowance for the types of signs that are compatible with the garden style and other existing developments in RA districts. The method for calculating the number of freestanding signs to include the greater of either one per driveway or vehicular entrance plus one per postal street address per street frontage will allow and is intended to aid in identifying units within the larger complexes with multiple entrances on multiple streets. Additionally, in this section are proposed to be updated to allow commercial messages. This change recognizes that building names are commercial messages, and functionally this does not change what is allowed in RA districts, as signs in this district remain limited to signs for entities that are located on the property. The second phase of the strategic amendments to our sign ordinance is primarily focused on signs within the public realm and how such signs can facilitate commercial market and broader economic resiliency. More explicitly, these amendments introduce off-premise advertising. Because Arlington's current sign regulations prohibit off-premise advertising, adopting such an amendment would represent a significant policy shift. The concept was recently highlighted during the November 2025 FY27 budget planning presentation. Updating Arlington's sign regulations to permit off-premise advertising in specified locations could support exploration of new revenue opportunities. It could also enable real-time public information displays, such as public safety alerts, emergency notifications, transportation resources, and wayfinding to local businesses, destinations, and community services, while contributing to broader placemaking efforts. The proposal also includes provisions for enhanced digital displays in Arlington's parks and public schools. With these changes, digital signs such as scoreboards could display team sponsors, enhance the game day experience, and align local facilities with those in nearby high schools. Section 1310(6)D is proposed to be amended to provide additional allowances for signs for athletic fields and schools and parks, and to allow up to 2 signs that accommodate commercial messaging, including off-premise advertising and changeable copy elements. We also want to amend section 1310(2) to allow for the placement of temporary banners for the duration of an event, rather than limiting the time to a total of 16 days, which was 14 days prior to and 2 days after the event. This will allow for greater flexibility and awareness of longer events or exhibitions that may occur in our schools, parks, museums, or other public properties. The zoning ordinance currently provides for sign systems in the public right-of-way that are authorized by the county board and placed or caused to be placed by the county manager within areas where sector, area, or revitalization plans have been adopted, or on Arlington School Board, joint Arlington School Board, Arlington County properties. This provision has been used to date to allow the county's business improvement districts to place banners within areas supported by bids. The proposed amendment before you this evening would expand the sign types that could be authorized and would introduce changeable copy and illumination to these signs. In addition to accommodating interactive kiosks, freestanding signs in areas frequented by pedestrians, it could also accommodate sponsorship opportunities through advertising at Arlington's Capital Bike Share docking stations located within these same areas. In suggesting this significant policy shift of making allowances for commercial messaging, including off-premise advertising, the proposed amendment retains the construct requiring county board authorization to the county manager for the placement of sign systems within the public right-of-way. Further, in its authorization, the county board would have to make several findings, including that the signs would not adversely affect traffic safety and would not result in clutter that would adversely affect the appearance or character of the surrounding neighborhood, that the signs are pedestrian-oriented, that the signs would not obstruct pedestrian movement or would not obstruct views for motorists, that the placement of signs maintains a clear walkway zone, and that permission is provided from underlying property owners and easement holders. In its authorization of such sign systems, the county board would adopt an ordinance that establishes standards that may include the following, including specific sign, size, location, and physical characteristics of the signs, the placement, the maintenance, and removal and replacement of the signs, the illumination and changeable copy standards that may deviate from the standards in Section 1313, where these elements are regulated, the length of time for which the signs may be displayed, and the allowance and standards for automatic changeable copy. This action before you this evening develops the framework to accommodate such sign systems, but it doesn't include the provisions for the procurement, contractual elements, or implementation. In looking at automatic changeable copy signs, we'd like to propose an increase in size to account for the increased use of LED or other technology in
signs, but it would still allow the weekend signs. Is that accurate? Okay. And then, but it wouldn't allow kind of Tenley's suggestion that you would have areas like a library or a public park that could have 31 or 7 day. Is that
You're correct. You're reading that correct.
So it would be no signs then in the public facilities either for 31 or 7 days.
Correct.
Oh, sorry. Can you not hear me? Okay, so I was just again restating. So it would not have then the 31 and 7 day signs would also then not be allowed at a library or okay.
Commissioner, tell me, I see your.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused because alternative D, the way I read it, it still is only in the public right of way, except we would limit it to particular locations or particular zoning districts. So it really doesn't, it would be 31 days, 7 days, weekends, but it would only be in certain particular zoning districts, which would have to be designated. We're not doing that in this. That would be a further step to decide what zoning districts then would, where they would be limited. Is that correct?
Yeah, certainly that's not something that we looked at. We were just looking at sort of variations of what's allowed now in terms of the alternatives that we were considering.
Okay, so it is still just right of way in alternative D.
Correct, yeah. And so some of the examples, I guess we did say certain zoning districts, but we were
But right away within
thinking
those
of the right of way,
zoning
right,
districts,
or certain street types,
still
et cetera.
right away.
Correct.
Okay, good. That clarifies what we're looking at here, which is why, again, I go back to, I think alternative A is probably the cleanest one to do because it eliminates the vast majority of signs and limits it just to it's a time and place. We're not getting into place, we're just getting into time, and it's a very, very short window, and it's only practical for certain particular uses. Thank you.
Commissioner Strider.
Yeah, so I'm gonna point in response to Commissioner Peterson's probing of where we are on that. I want to point to two arguments that have already been made. The first being the enforcement question. If we try and limit it to specific districts or specific schools or specific this, that, and the other, it just creates a a weird enforcement problem because candidates, whoever, businesses are going to say, oh, well, I didn't read the zoning code and I didn't know that it was allowed in Roslyn, but not in Crystal City, for example. And I think it creates that sort of confusion within the parties that we'd be trying to regulate here. And to your point, option A is, for example, but is cleaner in the sense that it just worries about the time and the sign type rather than specific location. And then the other piece I want to add is what Commissioner Torres had brought up, that these signs are still going to appear. Enforcement is, we got 4 people, and so they're still going to show up, but it's going to be a much smaller quantities, and they're going to be on things like the utility poles that Dominion owns and we have no really authorization over anyway. So these things will still appear, the word will still get out. We just won't have to have county resources be spent on cleaning these things up and deciding where they should and should not be and all that sort of thing. So it makes it just nice and neat and kind of washes our hands of a lot of the burdens that we're having to do now in terms of managing the waste of all of these signs.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yeah, so to respond, I don't think that we should make policy assuming that people are going to ignore the policy and because we can't enforce it. And for my D, I'm not saying that we should have alternative D because I don't think it should be in the public right of way. I think it should be at county-owned spaces in a designated spot. So if we just said no medians, except I'm okay with the weekend. So I'm like kind of looking at alternatives A plus a variation of D. So you can do the weekends and you can do community centers, libraries, parks, not, so I don't know what specified zoning is that, like public building zoning. So not looking at median strips, not looking at certain road types, just at community centers, libraries, public parks in a specific area. I don't think that's that hard to enforce because we would know that all of the median signs are not allowed unless it's a weekend. And then it's a real estate sign or something to that effect.
I want to say a few things. My turn. As always, I am extremely grateful to staff for anything that you can do to broaden the ability for a business owner or a business manager in the county to make their brand more visible. And I have related in the past my own experience as a business manager in Arlington of the inability to relocate our business in the commercial corridor because of the sign issue when the brand really heavily relied on visibility for ground floor retail and in buildings where I know we could have probably helped activate additional tenants for those buildings. So anything that we can do to continue to push this, I'm all in favor of. Having said that, I think it's kind of unfortunate that real estate open house signs are kind of lumped into the same category as the annoying political signs that we all see. And a couple of observations. Real estate professionals are extremely well aware of sign ordinances, not just here in Arlington County, but in all the area jurisdictions in which they work, and many of them work in more and multiple jurisdictions. They pride themselves on being professional, following the ordinance. The last thing they want to do is be dinged or find out from a seller that they're representing that, oh my goodness, we got dinged. That is not the way they want to represent their trade. My concern here is that probably potential sellers of homes were not consulted on this elimination of right-of-way of signs for open houses. Traditionally, when you meet with a real estate agent and you select one that you want to bring in the most amount of buyers in the least amount of time to get you the best price of your house, you don't want to hear later that, oh, and by the way, the county now has a regulation that is going to limit your marketing ability. Traditionally, it has been extremely popular, especially in our inward suburbs, that open houses are a thing. People look for the signs regardless of how many phones or how many devices or tracking, they do look for those signs. And it is something that is part of an agent marketing plan for years that sellers have become accustomed to. So it's concerning to me that the county hasn't perhaps consulted sellers, and would they be happy with taking this marketing option away from them? Thank you. And next we have,
Oh.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just a brief response to that. We did have a survey that was sent out to the general public in Arlington. So I would assume that includes some people who are sellers of houses. So that was our best attempt to engage the general public on this issue. That survey focused on the right-of-way signs as well as on the sidewalk signs.
Thank you.
I did have a quick question. So back to so 31-day signs, if they're eliminated, and 7-day signs are eliminated, I'm thinking eliminated. Does that mean anything less than 7 days would be allowed? And so, for example, leading up to an election, what would stop people from putting just all the signs out in the 6 days before the election? Would we not be in a similar situation?
Well, the zoning ordinance wouldn't allow, if
So
the provisions for the 31-day signs and the 7-day signs were removed, the only signs that would be allowed in the public right-of-way per the ordinance would be on from sundown to sundown on
a 1 day,
on weekends.
It's just a 1-day sign or 2 days. Just
It's the weekends and holidays is what the ordinance allows right now, and that's commercial and non-commercial. I also do want to clarify that those commercial signs are only for commercial activities that are lawfully occurring in our districts. There are very few commercial activities that are lawful in our districts.
Okay.
So it is a limited number of commercial signs.
So a weekday open house would not be allowed to have a sign?
That's correct.
Or a realtor?
That's
So
correct.
Okay, it would not be allowed.
Right, and that's not currently allowed. And I will say that that was a conversation that was had in 2012. There was an interest from the real estate community on having signs for, I guess, Tuesday open houses are common. That was something that they had raised at the time, but it was not something that made it into the ordinance.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? No? Commissioner Striner, I guess we are ready for some motions.
Yes. No, I think the first one's going to be pretty painless. I'm more concerned about the second one. My first motion is I move that the plan.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
We have one more question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was a technical question. We had a public speaker who seemed to have a lot of expertise about signs, and he recommended edits to our sign ordinance as it pertains to like the sporting events. So I just want to make sure that is taken into consideration and updated if needed. Sorry. Thank you.
Were you looking for a response? That's already addressed. The provisions for signs for athletic fields say that they're allowed to have automatic changeable copy, notwithstanding the provisions of 1313, which basically means they're not subject to the limitations in 1313. And we'll respond to him directly as well.
Commissioner Striner, take it away.
All right, I move that the Planning Commission recommend that the county board amend, reenact, and recodify Article 13 signs, sections 13.4, 13.6, 13.7, 13.8, 13.10, 13.11.1, 13.12, and 13.13 of the Arlington County zoning ordinance as set forth in attachment 5 of the staff report to increase types, size, and number of signs allowed in RA districts, to revise signs allowed within public districts and publicly owned property, to revise automatic changeable copy sign standards, to provide allowance for signs and/or sign types in specified locations for commercial activities, for products or services not on the lot on which the sign is placed, and to make editorial changes for clarity and for other reasons required by public necessity, convenience, general welfare, and good zoning practice.
I'll second.
That was seconded by Commissioner Lantelmi. Commissioner Striner, would you like to speak to your motion?
No.
Okay. Any other comments? No. All right. Alphabetically, we're going to go Commissioner Amadeo.
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Berkey.
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia.
Aye.
Commissioner Lantelmi.
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson.
Aye.
Commissioner Steinberger.
Aye.
Commissioner Striner.
Aye.
Commissioner Torres.
Aye.
Commissioner Bagley, that's me. Aye. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ayes. Correct, Mr. Pfeiffer? Yay. We always have to sync here. Commissioner Striner.
All right. I will make it, and then I guess you'll amend it. Okay. All right. I move that the Planning Commission recommend that the county board, sorry, let me start over. I move that the Planning Commission recommend that the county board amend, reenact, and recodify Article 13 signs, Section 13.11.2 and 13.11.3 of the Arlington County zoning ordinance as set forth in attachment 5 of the staff report to remove the allowance for public signs placed by private parties in the public right-of-way and for other reasons required by public necessity, convenience, general welfare, and good zoning practice.
I move to amend, or do we have to second it first?
Do we have to second that first and then we do the amendment?
I believe that it should be, the motion should be seconded, and then
We can,
before you vote on it,
we can
then you
amend.
can amend that
Thank you.
motion and then vote on the whole thing.
Thank you. Commissioner Torres seconded. Okay.
I would,
Commissioner
Madam Chair, I'd
Lantelmi.
like to make an amending motion.
Okay.
I move that the aforementioned motion of Commissioner Striner be amended to add the words at the end for the 7-day and 31-day periods, which would effectively mean that we preserve alternative A, which allows the weekend commercial uses.
Would someone like to second that? Commissioner Torres. Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Was it Commissioner Torres? She beat you to it. All right. Commissioner Lantelmi, would you like to speak to your motion?
Pretty much for the reasons that I've said in the earlier, my earlier number of rants on this, I suppose.
Okay.
I feel this is the more conservative way to go.
Okay. Any other, Commissioner Striner?
So to confirm, just for the record, this is the changes that we're making here take out the 31 and 7-day signs and then leave the weekends as they are today.
Correct. That's the intent of this.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Peterson.
So procedurally, will we vote on this amendment? And then if I wanted to propose the amendment to allow signs in county-owned properties that to be determined in a future point, but the intent being libraries and community centers, that would be a second amendment that we would separately vote for. Okay.
Yes. Commissioner Berkey.
Yeah, I really appreciate this conversation. I think this is a lot more difficult for really good reasons than maybe some would anticipate. So I really respect the conversation with my colleagues, and I appreciate the thoughts about, we do have a lot of folks in our community, our realtors and other stakeholders who do a good job of abiding by the current rules. I guess my concern remains enforcement. This only works if the rules are followed, and we have, some folks who do a really good job at following them, and some folks who don't. And we've identified that this is a serious issue. So I find it very difficult to support this, and I will be voting no, because if it's an issue all the time, then I find it hard to sort of pick and choose when it's not an issue. And then moreover, it comes back to the enforcement. This is a commitment of very limited staff resources, possibly a greater commitment than we currently have, to enforcing these rules, which are going to be by nature more complicated than they currently are. So it's a choice, right? It's a very understandable motion, and I respect those who support it, because we do have folks who are abiding by the rules now. I just think sometimes in policy, you have to make one choice or the other. We can't necessarily use the scalpel. And I think we have overwhelming evidence about how much harm these signs sort of do in our medians, right? And so to me, this is sort of an all or nothing, unfortunately. And I think that's why I would be voting no. Thank you.
I just want to add, from a real estate perspective, we are highly limited on saleable inventory out there. You are not seeing a plethora of open house signs on Sunday in most cases because we just don't have the inventory. And sometimes when properties are available for sale, it now is an exclusive listing. Sometimes it doesn't even get to an open house, which again, then the rest of the public, doesn't maybe get a chance to see it. So I just want to remind everybody that we're not talking about the plethora of signs that we would see as you would see with political candidates. We just don't have that kind of inventory. And I don't think we're going to be getting it anytime soon. Commissioner Torres.
Possible to add to the amendment where political signs are just excluded from this because, okay, never mind.
No, we can't do that. We can't do it by viewpoint or topic.
Okay.
It can only be place and time.
That makes sense.
Okay, having said that, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Commissioner Steinberger, I couldn't see your mic. Okay.
I'm really torn on this because I think there's a benefit to excluding sort of the weekend signs, and I think I can see the utility of that. I don't want to end up in a situation where you have people, because I agree, there's a physical risk, there is a danger element to running around the weekends, putting signs up and back and up and back and so forth. And I am a little concerned that there are some folks on campaigns or what have you who will just do that. And you'll end up with more interactions of people, running into medians just, to get these signs out for the weekend, if that's what the rules allow. I would like to think that people won't do that because it's kind of idiotic, but I can't guarantee that won't happen. And I'm fairly convinced that there will be some segment of the population that will do that because they can, so they just will. I think I'm inclined to support Commissioner Lantelme's amendment to this to allow for the weekend signs on the hopes that people are smarter than I'm giving them credit for being.
Bingo.
But I'm kind of nervous about that. That's where my head's at. I just needed to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing nothing, no other comments or lights on, we will go alphabetically. This is on the amended motion.
Just the amendment, not the full motion.
Not the full motion. This is the amended motion first.
Yeah, because I'm trying to understand how this is gonna.
So we vote
Cascade.
on Commissioner Lantelme's,
Yes.
then that will be disposed of. Then we go to my amended motion.
Yes.
Then that gets disposed of.
Then
Then we
it
go
goes
back to
back
Commissioner
To the
Striner.
original motion as amended as we vote.
You got
Okay.
me now.
So
Okay.
we're good, right?
So
right.
So if we vote aye to both, we're not denying. Okay,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, right?
Because I'm going to vote no here, as I said, but that does not preclude me from voting yes, should it pass on the main motion. Yes,
Gotcha.
we're simply voting on Commissioner Lantelme's amendment to
Amendment.
Commissioner Streiner's main motion.
Okay,
Yes.
so you did get me, thank you.
Okay, very good. We're all good here. Okay. Commissioner Amadeo.
Nay.
Was it nay? Did I
Yes.
hear that? Okay, great. Commissioner Berkey,
Nay.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yay.
Commissioner Lantelme,
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson,
Aye.
Commissioner Steinberger,
Aye.
Commissioner Striner.
Nay.
Okay. Commissioner Torres. Okay,
Aye.
okay. And I am also an aye. So that passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 3 nays, correct? Oh, gosh, we're 100% here. I love it. Okay. Now, Commissioner Peterson, I believe you have a motion for amendment.
Yeah, so this is going to be a variation of alternative D, which is just to say that we would limit 31-day temporary signs to designated county-owned locations, including libraries, community centers, and parks.
But not right of way.
Not the right of way.
Do we have a second?
Could that?
Yeah, please repeat that.
Limit so this is not the right of way. So it's limit 31-day temporary signs to designated county-owned locations, including libraries, community centers, and parks. But you would also be allowed to do the the signs on the weekends. So Commissioner Lantelmi's and then also this one.
So do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Amadeo seconded. Commissioner Peterson, would you like to speak to your motion?
I just think that it's helpful to give, to let people know that elections are happening. This indicates that elections are coming up. It gives people access to all of the candidates that may be running. And so I think this would be a nice compromise to make sure right-of-way is safer, make sure we are providing fewer signs, but also letting people know that an election's coming up and they should be excited about it.
Okay. All right. Having said that, so seeing no other questions, let's go to the vote. Commissioner Amadeo.
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Berkey.
Nay.
Commissioner Garcia.
Aye.
Commissioner Lantelmi.
Aye.
Commissioner Steinberger. I'm sorry, Commissioner Peterson.
Aye.
Commissioner Steinberger.
Nay.
Commissioner Striner.
Nay.
Commissioner Torres.
Nay.
And I'm a nay as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 yeses and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nays. So that does not pass, correct? Oh my goodness, I can't stand it. All righty. Are there any other amendments before we go back to the main motion as it has been amended per Commissioner Lantelmi's motion, which passed? Whew. Okay, great. So let's vote now on the original motion
As amended.
as amended, and we will go alphabetically. Commissioner Amadeo.
Let's do it. Aye.
Commissioner Berkey.
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia.
Aye.
Commissioner Lantelmi.
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson.
Nay.
Commissioner Steinberger.
Aye.
Commissioner Striner.
Aye.
Commissioner Torres.
Aye.
And I'm also an aye, so that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 1 to 0, correct? Mr. Hey, jeez, guys, we're so good. Do we have additional motions?
That was it.
Okay. Well, first, let us again thank staff. This is a Herculean task. You're never going to be able to please everybody. And even regardless of what is passed in the board, still a lot of challenges, as we all know, ahead. But again, particularly as a business manager in the county, I truly do appreciate the steps that we are taking moving forward. I think that is inviting, more help with the CMRI. And I want to thank everybody up here for their patience in going through this. So having said that, Madam Clerk, I think we are ready for commission business, correct?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Oh,
No.
done? Okay.
we're done.
Never mind. I was looking on here.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So commission business, let me get my agenda up here. First, we have approval of the February 9th hearing meeting minutes. So I'm asking your unanimous consent for that. Yay. Okay, great. Mr. Pfeiffer, do we have any planning division current matters that you need to tell us about?
No current matters, thank you.
Righty. Hold on, I've got all my notes here. I'm getting better at this. Oh, goodness. Okay. Commissioner Peterson, LRPC.
Thank you. So as you all know, our January and February meetings were canceled. We do have 1.5 meetings in March. We are going to have a joint ZOCO LRPC meeting where we will be talking about some ZOCO items and then as well as the CPHD Planning Division work plan. So I highly encourage you all to go attend that meeting so that we can see what work the Planning Division will be working on for the upcoming year, and we will have the opportunity to make recommendations if we think something that's not on the list is should be added. So that's March 11th. We also will be having a meeting for a 1401 Langston Boulevard special GLUP study. That's the Keybridge Marriott site. So that will be the following week. And we have one roster to approve. So Madam Chair, I seek your unanimous consent to approve the roster for 1401 Langston Boulevard special GLUP.
Yeah, I think we have unanimous consent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, SPRC, I of course forgot to send out my little guide, but we will be having more projects coming up, but not too many changes to that list at the moment. We do have 2 rosters. So one is 1401 Wilson Boulevard. I want to thank Commissioner Berkey and Commissioner Johnson, who could not be here this evening, for chairing that. And so I seek your unanimous consent on this roster. Great. We also have an amended roster for 4420 Fairfax Drive, which is being chaired, thank you, by Commissioner Striner. So I will ask your unanimous consent for that amended roster. Great. We do have on March 12th, SPRC number 2 for 4420 Fairfax Drive, otherwise known as the Spire at Fairmont. And also the online engagement period for Air and Space Force Association will start on the 13th of this month. And I want to thank again Commissioner Steinberger and Commissioner Torres for chairing those for us. I also want to thank Commissioner Huara, who could not be here tonight, for representing us at the county board in February. And although it was Licky Gardens, it was I think she was here from 10 in the morning to almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it carried over to Tuesday evening. So big kudos. So again, Commissioner Striner knows how that feels. Our next commission hearings are April 6th and April 8th, and we will tentatively be hearing Waverly Ridge as well as the Walgreens site plans. I will get those. The Walgreens was delayed a lot. I would not have been concurrently chairing anything like that. But I will get those reports to you at least a week in advance, as I do expect there will be public commenters and a lot of discussion on both of those. And I want to thank in advance Commissioner Striner and Berkey, who will represent us at the March county board meetings. So does anyone else have any other comments or questions? I again want to thank staff. Oh, I'm sorry.
I do have
Commissioner Striner. Yes.
So this is for the master transportation plan update.
Oh, thank you. There are a couple things I forgot here.
So
Whoops.
we have a meeting on the 11th, which is the same night as the joint ZOCO LRPC. If you want to skip that wonderful show and go to the transportation plan in lieu of my normal participation, just let me know and I can sub you in for this one, and so you all can represent the commission. And thank you everyone for who submitted information on the homework assignment that I had. That was really good strategies and things like that. Really, we're bringing this plan to life in ways that it hasn't been before. It's a little more high level before, but now we're getting a little more into the nitty gritty, and we're giving ways that the county can make these big picture goals more concrete. So that's all I wanted to say on that.
Awesome. I neglected, so yes, we've heard the ZOCO report also. Commissioner Berkey, do you have anything for FBC or AWG?
No report this month.
Okay. And I know, I guess Commissioner Berger, we are co-chairing or something like that, PFRC, but I don't think there's anything going on that. Okay, great. Any other questions, comments? Again, thank you, everybody. Go ahead. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Is that what it is? Okay, I know I had that down. Oh, okay. The online engagement and walking tour is on the 3rd. That's okay. Wonderful. Okay. So thank you again, everybody, our previous public commenters, those folks who've tuned in. So I will officially adjourn this meeting and we'll see you in April. Thank you.